everyone, welcome to the Playchoice. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm gonna wipe my tears and I'm gonna do this intro. Hi everyone, welcome to the playchoicespodcast, a podcast you hear. I'm your host, B.
Hi, I'm the co-host, Lucas.
Why am I like this?
I heard you trying not to laugh, and I was like, just get it together. I tried to speak without laughing, and I could just hear the laugh in my voice, and I'm like, why?
I can't hear myself laughing at the end of my sentence.
Oh my god.
Oh my fucking god. Will we ever make it past this moment in history? I do not know. Hi everyone, welcome to the Play Choices podcast, the podcast you hear. I'm your host V.
Hi, I'm the co-host, Lucas.
I'm gonna no, that was fine. That was fine.
That was good. That was better.
We're not gonna repeat it. We're not gonna repeat it. Let me just take a moment. I have actual fucking tears coming out of my eyes right now. I don't even know what I'm laughing at. That's the most confusing part. Oh my god. We'll spend this episode discussing chapters 5 through 7 of Queen Bee Book 1. This episode is not spoiler safe, so if you want to avoid spoilers for Queen Bee Book 1 chapters 1 through 7, please go read those chapters first, and we'll be here for you to come back and listen. The only other warning I'll give, is a content warning I'll give, is that the book is rated 17 plus because of adult themes and because there is an option to romance a professor. So if that does make you uncomfortable, please feel free to join us on a different episode where we're not discussing such sensitive subject matter. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I think we've just been laughing for the past 5 minutes. I'm dabbing tears from my eyes because I have not been able to get it together today. I'm feeling very unprofessional. But anyways, how are you?
I'm great.
We're good. We're thriving.
Oh, that's a tough word.
Oh, it's too strong of a word. You doing good?
It's too strong. My funny meter is thriving. Like, it's maxed out.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like even before we started recording, like we already got into the shits.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
For context, we were supposed to start recording 2 hours ago, but we just want to catch up on each other's lives. We were cracking jokes, we were saying inappropriate things. So we're already here. We're already at this level at the start of the episode. So this is going to be interesting.
No, it is. I have a feeling this is going to be one of my favorite episodes.
I mean, it's Queen Bee. We love it. It's us. It's Queen Bee. It's the book that we love. I feel like these next couple of chapters we're going to discuss are quite plot heavy.
Oh yeah, they are.
So I think it's going to be a lot of really good discussion. So, do you want to just jump into it?
Let's do it.
Okay. So we're going to start with chapter 5 called Takers Keepers. Now, as a reminder, the default MC name for this book is B. Hughes, so that's how we're going to be referring to the character for the rest of the episode. The chapter summary says everyone knows that espionage must be done in fur coats. So the chapter opens up with Zoey and Bee celebrating Bee gaining more popularity after the dance competition the day before. Zoey will comment that since Bee is gaining popularity so quickly, she could be up to win the Person to Watch award, which is an award that the first place winner earns at the gala at the end of the year. So, like, it's very weird, I will say. This is a part of, like, again, you and I in the very first chapter, the very first discussion we had about chapter 1, we were like, is this a realistic thing? This is one of those things where I'm like, this where'd you get this idea from? Because there's an official gala that's thrown at the university that people go to, where whoever is the top of the popularity list on the T, they win a Person to Watch award. And to me, it's just very strange.
And also the fact that the professors have such a, like, heavy hand in, like, who gets nominated as well. Like, because I feel like B, like, goes out of her way. There's a lot of times where, like, oh, if you help this professor, you get reputation points. Why?
Yep.
How?
Yeah.
Like, why does the, you know?
When you think of like because there, I mean, I think we've mentioned this before that like at the schools that we've been at, like there have been pages that are kind of like gossip pages, I guess. But the fact that like these pages are it almost feels like they're endorsed by the university like staff.
Yes, that is a good way to put it. Yes. Yes.
It's very strange to me. And like I get it. Queen Bee is kind of one of those books that's like a comedy, it's a little bit over the top kind of thing. So I understand it's not meant to be quote unquote realistic, but it is something where I was just like, I don't know where you pulled this out of your ass. That
Hmm.
like we have to go to a gala to celebrate who wins the fucking popularity contest.
Right.
And again, it gets on my nerves because like to me the tea is like a very toxic entity that exists within the school. So the fact that there's an entire gala surrounding it pisses me off because I'm like, who is allowing this? Who gave y'all permission to throw an entire fucking gala over the tea, which is essentially a platform that bullies people, essentially.
Right. The tea is such a biased like source because I feel like whether like something that you do could be good in your eyes, but just a couple of words can make the tea like, almost deprecate it and just make it in like a negative connotation. So I'm like, we don't
Hmm.
even know who the tea is, who
Yep.
the minions are that get this information, but yet it's like their sole opinion on you that causes your rank to rise and fall.
Yep.
And then that is still endorsed by the university. It's a lot. It's a whole lot going on.
Yeah. And especially with the content of stuff, like how they posted. This was even in the last episode we recorded on Queen Bee, but when who the fuck was her name? Chloe Lassie, when she put out this rumor that Bee got into Belvoir via
Hmm.
cheating, and then the dean was like, "Oh, we heard a rumor that you." I'm like, these two things should not be so interconnected.
Yes,
It's
yes,
very unprofessional. This whole university is messy. It's
it is.
real fucking messy. The fact that it's so prestigious seems a little bit wild to me, but whatever. Just know that the tea is very intricately woven into the social fabric of Belvoir, and it's very strange to me. Also, this is the first time we've heard of this fucking gala, and how long we've been at the school?
No, Zoe was like, "Oh, I didn't tell you," but I'm like, "No, baby, you didn't," and I'm really
No,
mad
this
at
is
you
new,
because
sweetheart.
you slacking a little bit as a best friend, as my lover, you slacking a little bit.
You said as a best friend and a lover, I'm disappointed on both fronts.
On both, on both.
So Zoe will hatch a plan to poach supporters from Poppy's side, and they call the plan Operation Zeta Infiltration because they want to get Poppy's assistant, whose name is Taylor, on their side. Bee is able to break into the house, but is caught by Poppy, who chases her out. So then Bee will head into the city to try to find Taylor because she knows that Taylor has like a couple of errands to run for Poppy. But then she catches sight of the professor heading into the bookstore. So B will catch up to them and mention that they don't enjoy it when the professor puts up a wall between them. B will express the desire to get to know the version of the professor that they met at the bar because, there's it's hard because I feel like I use the name professor to stay gender neutral, but there is the professor side of the professor. But then there is who they are when they're not at school and when they're not within the realm of their career or their job.
Right.
And we've been able to see both of them. Um, and so B is trying to figure out. She's like, "How big of a hammer and chisel do I need in order to break that wall around you? What's going on here?
I
What do I need to
know.
break in?"
And I understand. I just hate how this is written in the script because the professor, I can understand the hype about them, but I just do not care.
Ooh,
Y'all heard it
ooh.
here first. I am the T, and that was the T. I just don't.
Wow.
It's just so even like, and I understand, but it's just like the way I just really wish that the Choices writers wrote from like a neutral standpoint for all allies because there's just
Mm-hmm.
so many dialogues where they're like, Zoe, my best friend, and I'm like, no, that's my lover. Let's get that
Right.
straight. That's not my best
Mm-hmm.
friend. And they stayed
Mm-hmm.
calling her BFF. And then
Mm-hmm.
even the non-flirty options for the professor still are flirty. And I'm like, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
annoyed a little bit by like the
Right.
style of writing when it comes to like the allies, especially in this book.
welcome to the world of when you don't play a forced LI. Because I do feel like the LIs that you and I have chosen for a few of the books are
Mm-hmm.
typically the ones that are forced. So because we're enjoying the content, like we don't complain about it.
Right.
But for people who don't pick the forced LI, it's super fucking frustrating because it
Yeah.
always directly, heavily implies that there's something going on between the two people. Me personally, I ate the professor up like he was my last meal. Um, I, like I said in the last episode, in the episode before that I am trying to give Zoey a chance as an ally.
Mm-hmm.
She's a beautiful woman. She's very supportive. There's an intimacy and a closeness there that I very much appreciate. But that dick, though. Woo!
And it's because Zoe does not get scenes like the professor.
Absolutely. Oh, you're 100% correct. They do not give her an ounce. An
Right.
ounce.
At all. Like Zoe is only involved in the diamond scene if it helps your character gain reputation points.
100%.
And if there was like more fun moments with them, because like the in-person dialogue during the chapter, they be on point, they be so cute. Zoe the other day, as like I'm I'm getting emotional. I am B.
Hey, yesterday she said this cute ass thing to
Yeah,
me.
she did. Zoe did. She said something that was completely left field, completely flirty. And I was like, Zoe, like, took my breath away typeness. And then we
Mhm.
just don't get any scenes. And it's just like,
Mhm.
she got a whole mission. She see the professor on the street and she like, oh, let me go. No, no, no.
100%. 100%. 100%. The way that B is written is so motivated to, and that's the thing is like, to a certain degree, it doesn't even feel like romantic at this point. It feels it's like I saw your genitals one time and I like need to see them again. And then Zoe's like, yeah, best friend, go get that dick. Go get it.
Yes, yes.
And so, like, when that happens, like, that's the whole thing. The first time that I played the game, I was like, I see that Zoe is not, like, an option I can flirt with her. But because she pushes me so heavily into the professor, I'm like, it's hard for me to believe that you genuinely want me. But that's just an overall criticism I'll have of choices in general is, like, of course, there's always a force ally. We've talked about that before.
Right.
But also, too, like, there's no jealousy ever in allies. And I'm like, can y'all just write the jealousy aspect a little bit better, because
I
that would make me
know.
feel way more guilty for pursuing the professor. But yeah, like I said, the professor, buddy, don't even get me started. Do not, do not, do not.
Zuna, Zuna, especially the
Do.
scene that we about to tell you about.
Ooh, buddy.
You remember when I was messaging you? Like, I was literally just looking up. Like, this is one of the things that I looked up.
Yes.
I was like,
Yeah.
curiosity did peep. It peeped me so well.
Uh
I had to go
huh.
look at it. I was like, oh,
Uh huh. Uh huh. Because remember what I told you last episode where I was like, these sex scenes.
they good.
Ooh,
They good.
they are. The sex scenes in Queen Bee are so good.
Yeah.
I cannot overstate how much. Let me just
Yeah,
get
yeah.
into
Just
it.
prep them. You gotta prep. I'm
Okay,
like
okay,
Nikki.
okay.
You gotta prep them first. You can't give
Right.
it right like that.
Right. Okay, before we get on with the rest of the chapter, let me interrupt with some plugs. So you can leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/play-choices-podcast/message. It could show up in a future episode. You can also directly support this podcast at anchor.fm/play-choices-podcast/support. If we haven't convinced you yet, listen to this amazing, amazing commercial that Lucas and I put together for you. It
In
takes
the
me
arms
hours.
of an angel.
It takes me, no, keep singing. It takes me
I
hours to record. No, keep doing it.
Here
It takes me
are
hours to record and edit this podcast.
wherever you
And
are.
with your donation
I believe
of
that
$1 a
my
month
heart will
could save V from
go
smashing her fucking head into a
on.
wall.
Why does the heart
Thank you
go?
so much. And back to our episode. So, during this whole conversation, B inserts herself into the professor's, goal at the bookstore, which the professor is looking at anthology books, I believe. And Professor B's like, no, we gonna find you a different book. So she grabs the professor, starts taking them through aisle by aisle, and then they I forget exactly how, but somehow they knock a book off of a shelf, and it turns out to be an erotica book. So there is a diamond scene to role play using the lines from the erotica novel. Now I'm going to assume you didn't take it since you
Yeah,
said
I
that you
didn't, but I sure as hell looked it up.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I think that Queen Bee does such a good job at making these scenes like both very funny and like sexual. Like they're hot, but there's also a decent amount of banter that happens between Bee and the professor.
Yes.
For me, the most interesting part about it is that I think we figure out that the professor has like a punishment kink.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
was so.
And that just really and it's just so funny because I feel like that really adds to the professor's character
Mm-hmm.
because they're so guarded when they're like, in the open at the university. They are very guarded. And they're
Mm-hmm.
guarded towards you because they know that if there is anyone who could break down their walls, it is B.
Right.
So for like little snippets of information to come out like that, it is hot. Like I gotta be completely honest, it is hot. Like I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
professor, okay.
Now remind me in the scene, because I think the scene was written to where the professor could either spank B with a book or B could spank the
Spank.
professor.
Yes, yes.
You could do either way. So the professor, he's what do you call those? Averse?
A better yeah. He's you know.
I mean, it's not probably not used in like the exactly correct context, but that's the word that I'll use because the professor is down for punishing.
Mm-hmm.
They're down for being punished. Ooh, it's hot. Oh, it was so good. Of course, though, all good things come to an end with this relationship because eventually the professor will push B away. B is obviously upset. The professor says that they are concerned that the fallout of their relationship would have consequences for everyone involved and suggests that B find, someone else to go focus her energy on. So it's ice cold as soon as it gets a little bit warm in that scene. But am I deterred? No. Much like B, I'm going to continue pushing this line and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it until I can get the professor's pants off because
Because the
I'm
professor,
inappropriate.
he just a Sour Patch Kid. He be
Oh,
sour and then he be sweet and then he be gone. And
right.
so then like, what do you do?
Right, he's sour, he's sweet, and he's gone.
What do you do when you finish a Sour Patch Kid? You grab another one. You try again.
Uh
Like,
huh. Uh huh. You keep going until you finish the bag, and my bag is not finished.
okay.
Mhm. So afterwards, Bee will catch up with Taylor in the city because, again, she's running an errand for Poppy. Taylor, as it turns out, is basically having a mental breakdown because she's trying to juggle all of like Poppy's requests and demands of her. So she's pretty unsurprisingly miserable. There is an option for 15 diamonds to save her. Did you do this?
Yeah, girl. I said, let me help you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the generous queen. Let me go ahead and help you.
Oh.
Let me just, help because she was struggling. First thing first, when she walked in and asked the barista for like the almond milk, and he was like, "Sorry, we don't have it." I said, "You already can't do your research on which shop you need to go to, so already you messing up." I was like, "Let me help you."
Well, it was so funny because whenever you do, I can't remember. There's like a dialogue choice, and I can't remember what you have to pick to get it. But it was so funny because he was like, "Yeah, we don't have that," and B was like, "Well, you better fucking figure out how to make it, okay? Because she's having a fucking mental breakdown."
Yes, like B is literally like you can see her hyperventilating. You got to figure something
Right?
out, like
Yeah.
now.
Lie to her if you have to, but just tell me it's gonna be almond milk. So if you do take the diamond scene, not only do you gain an ally, which is of course great because we need them to kind of, take Poppy down, but we also learn Poppy.
This is like the cherry on top.
Right. I actually messed up when I called her Poppy. Her real name's Poopy. She takes diarrhea meds. That way she doesn't shit herself after all of her detox teas. So, did you decide to give Poopy her meds?
I did not. I threw them away. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, no, I threw them away. I absolutely did. First of all, what are you doing taking detox teas? But that defeats the whole point of a detox tea. The detox tea is supposed to make you shit.
Right, right.
So what are you doing taking meds that keep you from shitting? I know she's backed the fuck up. I just know she's hurting. Maybe that's why she's so mean to everybody.
But the thought of me arguing with Poppy and she got to run away because she got to go shit, I was like, please let it happen.
Is so fucking funny.
Please let it happen.
She gets so angry. Like, you know when, like, you're angry, you tense up and stuff? She tenses her ass muscles, like, and it just comes out. Just shits on herself in the middle of an argument.
Oh my god, I would
That
love
would be
that. I would love
hilarious.
that. I would be
Hilarious.
like, who smells like a farm now, bitch?
Oh! Oh, I just love the fact that we get to call her Poopy for the rest of the book now.
No, literally.
The fact that we know this is so fucking funny.
Oh my god. The fact that Poopy dropped to number 2.
Oh my god!
We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there. The chapter ends with Poopy sending Bee a warning saying that she's gotten rid of a student at Belvoir before, and Zoe actually looks nervous when Bee shows her this text and tells Bee to be careful. We're left off on that thread. I'll just leave it at that for the end of chapter 5. So picking up at chapter 6, called Keep Your Enemies Close, the chapter summary says, the enemy of my enemy is my friend? Yeah, sounds like bull to me. So the chapter begins with Bee sitting in her mass comms class, fretting over Poppy's last text, again, the threatening text that Poppy sent. Bee is continuously not paying attention in class and ends up getting paired with Poopy on a community service project as a result. And Poopy will determine how much longer. How much longer should I keep going with this? Should I just stop? Should I just say Poppy?
No. It needs to be this whole episode.
Okay. So Poopy determines that the project is going to be doing a commercial for a local animal shelter. Afterwards, Zoe will show up after class to take Bee to lunch, which is so fucking cute. Actually, so fucking adorable. Can we talk about that for a little bit?
I'm trying to tell you in dialogue, in chapters, Li is Zoe, but for these diamond scenes and these like adventures, it's not.
It's so sweet. That is so fucking cute. Like, I'm just getting such throwback to like my university, my time in college. Like the idea of your friends coming and being like, oh, because normally, I don't know about you, but normally when I met my friends for lunch, we would just meet at the cafeteria.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
At the food hall. But it's always like, no, bitch, I'm going to walk you. I need to see you the moment you get out of class. I'm like, that is the most precious thing I've ever heard in my fucking life. So Zoe will show up after class to take Bee to lunch, but their professor for the mass comms class, whose name is Professor Roberta, stops her and asks Zoe to get her mother, who turns out to be a celebrity, to sign a magazine for her. And the professor is clearly interested by Zoe and therefore is also impressed that, Bee is Zoe's friend. And there was a 15 diamond scene to ask Roberta to join you for lunch. Did you take it?
I did, because the whole intro to the chapter was Bee soaking like, how am I going to get this professor to like me? And I was like, oh, here we go. And of course, who's the Band-Aid? Who's the fix that doesn't get enough credit? Zoe.
Again, my girl getting slept on yet again. I just love that Zoe truly was like, let me throw you a little bit of bait to help you out here. Because Bee was fucking up. Bee was like not paying attention in class. She was like on her phone. She was like too busy zoning out thinking about the threat that Poppy sent her. And Professor Roberta was like, girl, if you don't pay attention to this class, called her out.
Yeah.
Called her completely out. So it's a very fun conversation where Zoe and Bee bond some more, and Roberta is quite impressed by their friendship. Or let me just say bond. Because it's not quite a friendship for you. It's something
Right.
I want to put some respect on your relationship.
This might be number one, y'all. That's why she my number one.
So the professor will compliment the two on actually having personalities and being refreshing compared to the rest of the students at Belvoir. And Zoe comments that it's because they're new money and they didn't come to Belvoir because their parents forced them to. They actually came here to learn, so they're actually quite interested in class and getting to know everybody. So Roberta will promise to tell her colleagues about the conversation. So again, we're getting back to the whole thing where like these professors have some social sway in terms of our ranking, which is very, I feel maybe we beat the dead horse on this, but it's still strange to me.
It is definitely because like the professor Roberta, very closed off, but like towards the end of the diamond scene, she leaning in and she like, bitch, let me tell you.
Oh
I'm like,
yeah, oh
okay,
yeah, she was gossiping just like the rest of them, and that's the professors are no better.
at all whatsoever.
Because Ian could sit here and be like, I don't want you to bring any drama next to me, but aren't you the one doing research on the social rankings at school? So I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear no back
Mm-hmm.
talk. And let me tell you, the one thing I appreciate about Roberta is that she is unabashedly into the drama.
Absolutely.
She does not
Absolutely.
pretend. There are no games being played. She knows what she wants. She knows what information she wants. She asks them, "Hey, can you tell me this?" Gives us her opinion on all of the
Yep.
goings ons at the school, and it's truly fascinating to like watch. Because honestly, I know some people I feel like probably if I had to guess playing the scene may have been like, oh, she's an adult, she's older, she shouldn't care. I don't care how much time passes. I don't care how much I age. I'm always down to hear some good goss.
Okay.
And that's why I fully relate to Roberta. I support her as a character.
And when you work at the university that you work, obviously it's part of your like curriculum. It's part of your,
Yeah,
you got to have gossip
basically.
on your resume.
Basically. At this point, when you go into the gala, Roberta's gonna be there. She's oh, the school's problematic. So later, Poopy will invite V to a Zeta hangout spot. We learned that Poppy actually has a new boyfriend, and also that Chloe's on the outs because she ends up taking Poopy's number 2 spot.
So Poopy is now number 2. Okay.
hmm Where she should be. Where she should be. So as a result, Poopy offers a temporary truce until she figures out how to get the spot back. So the next day, the two of them will arrive at the shelter. We get to see a different side to Poopy, where she actually seems quite friendly while she pets
Mm-hmm.
animals. You went immediately?
No, I was like, like,
Oh, okay.
that was a little surprising,
Yeah,
a little bit for the character change.
yeah. But honestly, doesn't she seem like the kind of I'm remembering this quote from Community where it's like I can excuse racism, but I draw the line at animal cruelty. That's the kind of person that Poppy seems to be to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's very much like even her reasoning behind it, it's like a very blurred line, but you're kind of like, okay, I understand. And like it was like, oh, my parents didn't let me have like a dog when I was little, so I just bought a whole animal shelter. And it's like, okay, all right, okay,
Right. You were like, okay, I guess that's one way to get around not being able to have a pet.
right, right.
Um, so yeah, she will get a little emotional speaking about the shelter. Again, like Lucas said, she does reveal that her parents did buy her the shelter when she was younger instead of in lieu of buying her an actual pet. So the two of them will start filming the commercial, which offers many opportunities to show Poppy up, and it also includes adopting a puppy later for 20 diamonds. Did you get this puppy?
I sure did, and I named him Loki because they were like, oh, all his other brothers and sisters got adopted and people wanted him. So I was like, that reminds me of Loki. He a little left out a little bit, so I named him Loki. I sure as hell adopted that puppy.
I'm very lazy when it comes to naming the animals in this book, so probably whatever default name that they gave the dog, I'm gonna be very honest with you. Like I do not put a lot of effort. If it has a default name, that's what it's going with. And so they probably named that dog Cutie. My dog's name is probably Cutie. I can't remember what I named it, but I'm pretty sure it's whatever the default name is. But yeah, I mean, it's 20 diamonds to show Poppy up at her own commercial shoot. Why
How
wouldn't
could
you?
you not? How could you not? And you do it so elegantly in such a
Mhm.
way that it seems like natural.
Right.
Poopy was about to shit herself because that director was like, "Yes, B, give it to me. Yes, yes, say this, yes," and I'm like, "Mm-hmm, mm-hmm." First of all, Poopy came out at first because the script. What did she say? First of all, she only gave us one line. And
Oh my
second of
god,
all,
she said I feel at home here at the animal shelter.
like, no, bitch. She deserved it.
I read that and I went, "Oh bitch, it is on." Oh bitch. What happened to the truce?
What happened to the truth? Because the amount of times that she's given us like this backhanded like, and we'll discuss it in the next episode. Like when we get to it, I'll bring it up. But for
Uh-huh.
this one, your dialogue line was like farms. Like you couldn't just put B. Like my name. Like you couldn't just put me in the script as
Yes.
B. You got to say like
Yeah.
Farmsville.
Yeah. No, Poopy is a fucking bitch. She's a great villain, but an awful person.
She is, and I do like that. Even like kind of during the truce, she really does not let up. Like she just really just does not. Like I just like it. It really gives me like frenemies vibes because like yes, we have a common goal for this moment, but she's still putting you in your place at any chance she gets.
That's what I think like you need for a villain. Like if you're going to have a moment where you're going to have the villain and the protagonist kind of like interact more frequently, like you especially in this medium where you have to pay diamonds to get these scenes,
Mm-hmm.
you every chapter you pretty much like it feels like the majority of the diamond scenes with the exception of the romantic or the sexual ones are driven by this need to beat Poppy.
Yeah.
And so you absolutely need like a villain who's like easy to hate.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Poppy's easy to hate. She really is. She truly is. Before we continue with the rest of the episode, I do want to remind everyone that if you have any questions, theories, or comments that you would like to be included in a future episode, please email us at playchoicespodcast@gmail.com. Make sure to specify whether you want to be shouted out or not, otherwise all emails will be anonymous. Questions can be related to books we've recorded episodes on, books that we haven't discussed yet, or even questions that you'd like to ask us. Alternatively, you can go to our Ask box on playchoicespodcast.tumblr.com and submit a question. Just specify that it's for the podcast and we'll be sure to include it. And back to our episode. Okay, so later B is at the professor's office. B keeps getting distracted, however, thinking about how both mean and nice Poopy can be at the same time. The professor will end up calling B out on being distracted and ask B to talk about their day. So B will confess that she's having a hard time melding the two images of Poopy together, and the professor suggests that it might be because B judged Poopy on her upbringing. The professor says that oftentimes people with owed money actually learn to be cutthroat to get ahead, but it doesn't mean that they always act this way. Do you have any thoughts about this scene?
I just felt it was so unnecessary. Like I understand it, I get it. Like they want to be like, oh, maybe we should give Poopy the benefit of the doubt. Like you never really know where someone comes from if you don't walk in their shoes. But
Right.
given the events that happened literally right after this, I'm like, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Well, I anticipate there's the Laws of Attraction episode where we talk about Bo and stuff and like
Mm-hmm.
his rich kid problems is probably going to air before this. So if you listen to that, you're probably going to understand what I'm talking about. But in that episode, I kind of say like I don't really give a fuck. And like I get that even good situations have their hard times, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that being rich has its pros and cons. I'm not saying that there's no downsides to it, but like do I care as someone who's not rich?
Right, right.
No, I do not. The whole thing of like, oh, people with old money learn to be cutthroat. It's like, well, if some of y'all just started being nice people, you wouldn't have to deal with being cutthroat.
Exactly.
It doesn't necessarily mean, be trusting and manipulate, but like you can be like I feel like I'm like this. I feel like I'm a person who's like generally pretty friendly and kind, but that doesn't mean I just let everybody in and have everything of mine. So I'm like, I don't really understand like this whole thing, like, oh, they have to learn to be cutthroat, yada yada yada. I don't give a fuck. I do not give a fuck, especially when her version of being cutthroat is bullying people. And the people around her who help her too, like Taylor's her assistant, she's not nice to her. How does that help her? How does being cutthroat to Taylor help her?
Exactly. Exactly. It's a fear tactic. It's not about like
Yeah,
respect.
no. She could have dropped the axe. She already has Taylor right where she needs her. She could have dropped the axe a long time ago, but she's still acting like a bitch. So I don't have any fucking sympathy. I mean, I understand the way that the professor approaches it from like a anthropology. No, that's a store. That's a clothing. From an anthropology perspective. So I understand why he explains it in the manner which he does. But that doesn't mean I have to look at it from that lens. And I surely don't have to treat Poppy any differently just because she cried a little bit at a puppy. Like, bitch, I cry if I wake up and my bed is like a little bit too cold. We both
Exactly.
sensitive. We
Yeah.
both sensitive bitches. What about it? You ain't going easy on me. I ain't going easy on you. So after the conversation, the professor will invite B to leave, and there is a diamond scene to stay and help the professor grade papers. Did you take this?
Hell no. I said, oh, you let me go. Thank you.
Right. Any normal day, I would be like, yes, I'm gonna go get my sleep. But like I said, this professor has me in the palm of their hands, wrapped around their fingers, and I took it. Yes, I did. So when if you do take it, B will prompt the professor to open up about how their day was, but honestly, it gets shot down like pretty fucking hard. I don't know. Did you go watch the scene on YouTube?
No, this is the one I didn't watch because the the setting of it, I was like, it's probably not going to be. I don't know. Like, I didn't think it was going to be that good. The other one, you knew it was going to be a little
Mm-hmm.
bit steamy. You know, you
Yeah.
kind of peek through the window, kind of. You know, you could expect what was going to
Right.
happen. This one, I was like, I have no idea.
Right. Okay. So, after the professor declines to kind of open up about their day, the professor will say that they were nominated for an award for their dissertation, which is leaving them feeling pretty nervous. The professor is excited about the award because it would give them more recognition and career opportunities. But the professor is also, thinking pretty heavily about their future because they aren't necessarily passionate about teaching and they don't have tenure at Belvoir yet, and they want to do more to help their sister and niece. So it seems like potentially, they're looking outside of the university to try to figure out like what step to take in their career next in order to kind of make their personal goals a reality. There are some more opportunities to flirt, but ultimately, like nothing really significant happens. So it's more so learning about the professor's like career accomplishments and how that could like lead them into a certain direction. I honestly really like the scene. The little details that you get here and there about the professor really start to like warm you up, and you're like, okay, like start to learn about what they're passionate about, learn what they're doing just to kind of get by and learn who's important to them. Because that little detail about them having a sister and a niece is pretty important. That will continue to be something that's like brought up later on in the book. So the chapter will end with Poppy offering to extend the truce, assuming that B will help her bring down Chloe. Because remember, Poopy is number 2, Chloe's number 1 right now. So that'll bring us to our final chapter we're going to discuss, which is chapter 7, titled Dance with the Devil. Chapter summary says Poopy just offered an olive branch. Better hope it's not sharp enough to stab you in the back. So the chapter will begin with Bee getting ready for Professor Kingsley's class, and she goes looking for her bra. It's missing, but Bee assumes that it gets lost in the wash. So that's kind of a random detail they throw in there. Don't really know where that's going to lead yet, but something that they bring up in the plot. In class, Bee has the opportunity to tease the professor about their sexual chemistry since the lecture is about sexuality. As one of the students raised their hand to answer a question they posed, the professor will accidentally call that student B, letting you know that, clearly we're on the professor's mind. A little detail that I quite enjoyed. So during the class, Zoe will text B to let her know that the professor is on Cinder, which is like like a double for Tinder on the Choices app. So there was a diamond scene to look at their Cinder profile. Did you take this?
No, again, I was like, and this is again, I'm like, Zoe,
Mm-hmm.
baby, you know I'm with you. Why? Like,
Right.
I understand it's choices writing you like this, but come on, baby,
Mm-hmm.
you know where my loyalty is.
Right. You're like, Zoe, a little bit more self confidence, please, because you know I'm in love with you.
I know, right, right. Like, I'm like, come on, like, you're the daughter of like a pop singer. Like, this professor ain't got nothing on you, baby.
Right. So obviously, like I said, I'm an Ian whore, so I took the scene. So we do learn a few things. The professor considers himself a craft cocktail connoisseur, enjoys crossword puzzles, and is afraid of geese. Then I would say that this app that they created is a lot more like a Hinge than a Tinder, personally, because there's like different prompts that you get to answer. So there's this prompt that is titled "The Sexiest Thing About Me." I'm a very hands on instructor, if you know what I mean, and I'm not afraid to discipline you if you get out of line. Then there's another prompt that says, are you a top or a bottom? And the professor wrote, well, variety is the spice of life.
We called it here first, folks. We called it.
Did I tell you there were a verse?
We called it.
Let me preface this. When B is looking at the profile, she has to make her own profile. She doesn't currently have a profile in the app. So when she does, you can either pick a fake profile or a real, or you can make one with just your face. I personally picked to make a fake one. because I didn't want the professor to know we were snooping on them. But B will match with the professor, and the professor will, in class, let me preface, this is during class. The professor is on his phone, swipes on the fake profile, messages, and says, I know it's you. And then there's this whole dialogue where like B looks up and like the professor is like smiling at their phone.
That's kind of hot a little bit.
Isn't that hot?
That's really hot.
Isn't
That
that
is
hot?
really hot.
I'm telling you, the sexual tension that, and you know, normally I'm the first person to be like, don't fuck this person, don't fuck this person, it's unhealthy. I would be spread eagle on this man's desk
When
in
I
class.
tell you, if I would have taken this scene would have been the scene to convert me. So I'm so glad that I stayed true to my baby Zoe. But if I, for some reason, take another scene and it's the hotness like it is in this one, I might have to
I'm
do
telling
both.
you
I might have to do
right
both.
now, Lucas, I'm telling you right now that if the scenes only get hotter. So if you take a diamond scene with the professor, it's not going to end well for you and Zoe. I'm just letting you know.
Oh,
Because they only get better.
whew.
And yeah, so they continue to flirt through the app. That flirting is also very, very hot. I would encourage you, because I know you said you didn't watch the YouTube playthrough, go on YouTube and watch the playthrough of the scene, because it is hot. It's hot. It's so good. So after class, the professor will tell B that they won the award that they had mentioned in the previous chapter, but unfortunately, none of his friends or family can attend the ceremony. And then, interrupting their conversation, Poppy will send a text telling B to meet her at a club that night. So at the club, Poopy will reveal that her boyfriend has been flirting with Chloe via DMs to later prank her. Poopy plans on embarrassing Chloe publicly at the club and will do so by feeding her boyfriend Bradley the lines when he goes on stage to make a speech about a girl that he loves. Once Chloe goes on stage to meet Bradley is when they plan on humiliating her. It's pretty easy to pull off. Like B just kind of feeds Bradley random lines, and Poppy is actually like genuinely happy for once when the prank succeeds. Like starts to grab B and tells her like, "Hey, let's dance together." They're like actually kind of being like fairly. It's weird because it's friendly, but it's with tension. Like it's strange.
Yes. Like they're still like it's just very like backhanded. Like it's very weird. Like Poppy would be like, "Oh my god, like I'm having such a good time with you, link licking a manure shit face," and like he would be like, "Wow, I'm surprised. You know, you could let loose and not like shit yourself." Like it's just like that type
Right.
of like. It's just very. I liked it though. I thought it was true to their character.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's always this really great tension between the two of them, even when they're trying to be friendly with each other, and it's again phenomenal writing, phenomenal conflict and tension that they've created between these two characters. I worship the ground that this book walks on. Like it's so incredible. So Poppy will invite B to go back to her place. Did you take this offer?
I did. I
Mm-hmm.
did.
So Poppy and B will go back to Poppy's bedroom, where she starts
Mm-hmm.
putting some like K beauty skincare on B's face. They're having like a quote unquote girls' night. Poppy will reveal some dirt that the sorority girls are actually swapping boyfriends, which is leading to them getting a bunch of STDs. And Poppy will actually start to flirt with B, which will give you an option to hook up with her. So did you take this option?
I did. I
I
did.
did. I
I
did.
did.
I
I
did.
just curiosity had me, yo. It
Yes.
had me
Yes.
because the opening scene was you looking at her phone while she typed in her password. And B was like, "Oh, if I go back with her, I might have a chance to look at her phone." But then when that happened, I was like, "All these opportunities keep knocking. I'm gonna answer every door." Like I'm just
Absolutely. And you know what? If she's shit in bed, I will roast her in the quad with everyone to
okay,
let them know she's shit in bed.
okay.
And if not, if you gonna terrorize me, at least give me a nut. At the
And
very
I'm gonna say I'm
least.
gonna use that to my advantage too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you ugly, really? That's not what you said the other night in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't ugly enough for you to not sit on my face last night.
Okay, okay.
And plus, like, imagine y'all get into an argument and like she's starting to get heated and you're like, do you really want to do this or do you want to go to your bedroom? Like last
That's
time.
funny. That's funny. But what I love is like even in this scene, Poopy was still Poopy. Because she was
Uh-huh.
like, wow, who knew you had such a good body under all those ugly clothes? I said, damn. I said, can we get in bed? Like,
Yes, I'm like, bitch, start eating me out. I'm tired of you talking. You
yeah,
gotta do something else with that mouth.
you being too loud. You being too loud.
Oh my god. So yeah, we definitely both looked up with her. It was a good scene.
It was, yeah.
And after the scene, B will look at Poppy's text messages and take screenshots of her talking shit about all of her friends. When B gets home, Poppy will text her, let her know that the truce is over, and she reveals that she actually sent a video of B hog calling on her farm to
And this is the shit I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. I'm like, damn. Like, we can't get nowhere with her. That is our enemy. And that's what I love. Because, like, in the same breath that I was like, Poppy, I'm just going to do a little kissy kissy so I can get what I want. She did the same thing. Like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Poppy couldn't even rest in the afterglow of the orgasm that we gave her. She said thank you so much, emailed the T and said, here's a video that I found of her hog calling.
literally came out the bathroom, said, what are you doing here? Like, why are you
Yeah.
still here? I said,
He's like,
damn.
what are you doing here? Because I literally just sent, I'm literally about to go send this. Like, I actually need you to get away from my phone so I can send this video to the
Right,
T.
right.
This bitch is exhausting, but I do kind of live. She's exhausting, but I do also live for the conflict between the two. But I will fuck anyone and everyone I can in this book because all of them are attractive. Is Poppy a fucking bitch? Is she a horrible person? Yes, but she's hot.
Yeah, she is. She
She is
is.
hot. Let's not pretend when she took them clothes off that y'all weren't staring at her. So if I get the opportunity and the consent, I'm gonna take it.
And but just because of who she is as a person, like her insides might be a little, gassy, whatever, she might be shitting
Right.
herself. But she take care of herself. So everything top notch A1.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Because she's all about her appearance.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
she's gonna be fine underneath.
Mm-hmm.
So alright, before we move on to the rest of the chapter, let me interrupt to plug our socials. We are at Playchoices Podcast on Instagram and at PlayChoicesPod on Twitter. You can also go to playchoicespodcast.tumblr.com for our Tumblr page, which is where I post any episode notes that I have, like links to posts I've mentioned, photos I've mentioned, or more. We're also available for listening on all major platforms, so if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please rate, review, and subscribe. It's a funky thing with the algorithm that helps us a lot. I wish I could explain it more in depth, but I just know that it helps us, so we do appreciate any reviews that you leave us. And as always, we are a growing podcast, so if you see us pop up on your socials, we do appreciate a share, a retweet, or a reblog, depending on the platform you see us on. We also appreciate it when you share our podcast with your fellow choices-loving friends. And now, back to the episode. That's pretty much all I have from, like, a plot discussion perspective. I did have a couple questions for you. Are you more good girl or bad girl options?
Okay, so before, I was deaf, good girl.
Mm-hmm.
And like the dialogue as well could attest to that, because even with the scene with like the professor, it was more so like, oh, I'm doing this for the benefit of everyone at school. Like, I just think that Poopy have been treating everyone like shit.
Mm-hmm.
But this very last chapter, I was very bad girl because I
Yeah,
wanted to get Poopy on my side if that was possible, and B, the way Lassie was like throwing insults left and right, I'm like, girl, you about to embarrass yourself, and I'm about to help.
exactly. Exactly.
I was very bad girl this last chapter. I was.
I've been trying to pick a bad girl too because the
Mm-hmm.
last time that I played good girl, and I was like, kind of boring. Like I said in the first episode on Queen Bee, like I don't really see the point in like playing a good girl because it's like I think that the entity of the T itself is very toxic.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to play a good girl, but you're still playing within the power systems that exist, which are toxic at the school, then I think it's quite pointless.
Right.
So I just went ahead and just was like, fuck it. If I'm gonna be a bad girl, let's be a fucking bad girl. If I'm gonna throw away Poppy's medication, let's be a fucking bad girl.
It just really made me think of that Vine back in the day where it's like, live fast, die young, bad girls do it
Let's do
well.
it
Like,
well. Basically, that's basically the theme for this whole book.
absolutely.
So we'll already know that you've taken the opportunity to flirt with Poppy. So my question to you is this something you're going to continue to do? Was the scene intriguing enough to kind of, if this comes up again, would you do it again?
I think I will. I think I
Hmm.
will.
And then with the professor, do you think you would eventually ever take a scene with them?
Oh, see, I feel like the way that I am playing is like, strictly monogamous for Zoe. I just want to be with her.
Hmm.
But I mean, why not dip my toe in the pool? And Zoe don't care. Zoe don't give a shit. So and literally it was so crazy because like when I went back with Poppy, I was like, oh, technically I'm cheating on Zoe. But like the outcome of it, it was a good scene. It was a
Hmm.
really good diamond scene.
That's what I'm saying. Like the sex scenes are so good that like even though my ally of choice is the professor, I do fuck everybody in this book.
I feel like I might have to. I don't know, guys. Next time you hear a Queen Bee podcast, oof, I might have joined the dark side.
We're
get a little
always,
professor
first of all,
action.
the dark side, bitch. Damn. Damn. Shit. I mean, we're always going to be Team Zoe. We're always here to represent and respect Zoe, but
Right,
I'm just saying
right.
from an ally perspective, it's very difficult to romance her
It
because
is.
she is always pushing you onto the professor. 100%.
And are we a bad friend for not taking her advice? I don't want to be a bad friend to Zoe. I think I should do what she says.
Ooh. True, the way the tables have turned over the course of this episode, the way the tables have turned. All it took was two diamond scenes, that's all it took. And Lucas is right over here on my side. That is all it took. Lucas about to ruin this man's whole career just to get some dick.
Oh God.
He said, I will risk my academic future and your academic career in order to see that penis again. Well, actually, you didn't even fuck him in
I
the
didn't even
first
see
chapter,
it.
so.
That's what I'm saying. And it's
Damn,
so
bitch.
crazy because I remember when we first discussed Queen Bee, you were like, I'm really shocked that you're not taking these diamond scenes with Ian.
Mm
Because, of
hmm. Mm
course,
hmm.
I have male professor Li.
Mm hmm.
And I'm like, yeah. And I'm just like stuck with that bravado. But the last two scenes you've described, oh,
They're hot.
they're hot. They are very hot.
Very hot. Oh
And
my
the
god,
only
they're
diamond scene
so
that I
hot.
took with him was to like outperform that one teacher bitch.
Oh, Lexi,
Yes, yes. Because I was
when
like,
you get snacks.
you ain't got nothing on me, ma'am.
And that was the one where, ooh, you had the option for him to lick your finger.
Yep. And that was hot.
Not us just being horny the whole episode.
I know. I know.
Oh, this would usually be the point where I ask you about rapid fire impressions, but I feel like we both know where we're sitting on all these
Oh,
characters.
absolutely. I mean,
Like,
like,
legitimately.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, we
Well,
like low key love all of them, but
mm-hmm.
Lassie, and that's it.
Pretty much. I like to shit
Conclusion.
on Chloe, but that's pretty much it.
Poppy likes to shit on Chloe too.
Poppy likes to shit in general, apparently. All the detox teas she be drinking.
Oh
And
my
that's the
god.
thing. When Taylor explained the medication, she said
Ooh,
detox
that was
teas
just
plural. I said, how many is she drinking a day? How many is she drinking in a day? Because
that
according to the instructions,
whole
you're only supposed to have like one a day or something, right? For the majority of them. Let me just take this moment to do a PSA that detox teas are literally nothing but laxatives.
yeah,
Look at the ingredients, Google them. It will come up that they are natural laxatives that will make you shit your fucking brains out.
yeah,
There is
absolutely.
no such thing as actually needing a detox. Your body has all of the organs that it needs to detox itself. You do not need to buy a tea to do it. You're just buying liquid and powder that's going to make you shit. So
Hmm.
please do not go out there and fall for these detox scams that try to convince you you're going to, I mean, you will lose weight, but it's not going to be in a sustainable fashion. The moment you stop drinking that shit, it's going to go right back up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just want to do that quick PSA. Don't get scammed. Be smart. There's other healthier, more sustainable ways to lose weight and be healthy than taking a detox tea. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much the end of the episode. Is there anything else you want to say?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody so much for listening. This is the opportunity where I have to do a shameless self plug, of course. I stream on Twitch every Tuesday, 7 p.m. EST, 4 p.m. PST. My bad. Right now, I'm only streaming Romance Club. If you ever have any other sessions of whatever you would like to see me stream, I'm open to all of them because I am trying to add extra days to my streaming schedule. Those are all of my thoughts and opinions on these couple of chapters. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Next Saturday, we will release an episode, so we look forward to talking with you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.